Join me on a fascinating journey where I show you some of the techniques used in scale aeromodelling. Okay modellers, here we go. It's almost flat calm. Right, left, up, down. Then we'll come back a little bit further. Now if this hits the ground, I think that's probably the end of it. But it has to fly. One last check for dogs. Dog walkers come in here and they let the dogs off the lead and they chase the models. And I've had one damaged that way before. Okay. Let's see what happens. That seems very good. And that's the end of that. It wouldn't turn right enough. I had full right in, but it wouldn't turn. Oh well, such is life. Let's go and get the bits. That was looking promising as well. I'm not sure how I'm going to get that down. Yeah, not sure how that's coming down. I think we might have to go and get something long. Window cleaning pole, I think. Right, that's the end of that little exercise. Goodbye Blackburn. Well, hello again modellers. Well, that was a bit of a sad end, wasn't it, to the old Blackburn Monoplane, but we only really are custodians of these models, so quite often, well not quite often, it doesn't happen that often nowadays, but yeah, before you commit these models to fly, you have to accept that sometimes things don't go quite to plan. I'm a little bit frustrated with myself because I hadn't fully been aware of my surroundings there. I've flown from that cricket pitch many times, and usually the models are much smaller, and I guess where I was flying from was the practice wicket on the cricket pitch, and it's not centered, it's well off to one end, and with a little bit of wind pushing me to the right, and also the controls weren't authoritative enough. If you saw it on the ground, I had full right rudder and full left, you know, when I was doing the control surface test, I had a lot of throw. But what I do find with this model is I get a lot of blowback as well, and with the airflow flying over the surfaces, it tends to push back and stretch the lines that I use to control the pull. And that was a failure with this model. I used nylon. It was supposed to be non-stretch nylon line for the rear end rigging and all the pulls, and that was there was a reason I did that, and that was to keep the weight down at the back, because there's quite a lot of wire in this model, and if it's at the front where the CG is, that's not so bad, but at the tail I really didn't want to do that, so I used a nylon line for the rear end rigging and for the control surface, and the length of the pulls. As you can see, the servos, in case you can't remember, are actually right behind the motor, literally. It's the two servos. The receiver was there, everything was as far forward as I could get it. So that was the reason. The fuselage is not as bad as it looks, but it probably would be easier to make another one than it would be to repair it. The wings again are not too bad, but I don't know. I've got lots of other things to do, so I probably won't do anything with this. The thing the model really needed was some new tail sections, some new lightweight tail. And as you can understand, the only bit that actually survived completely unscathed are the tail bits. Sod's law, isn't it? Anyway, it was a fun project. I really enjoyed a lot. It was the first one I've ever done where I built over a drawing rather than create a plan. And I just built over the profile and the plan view and what have you. And it's a really nice way of building. It's really quick, and it's very accurate. But sadly, we didn't have a positive result at the end of this one. So it won't be flying at Walsall. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this series. I know it's been a bit long-winded, but it's been a lot of fun. I've learned a great deal about airbrushing and colours and all sorts of nice stuff with this model. It's been a lot of fun. And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, enjoying what you're doing. So, sad ending, but oh well, never mind. There'll be other models. See you on the next one.